I have watched many men rise to leadership, and I have watched many fall. Those who rise may possess vision, skill, or charisma, but the ones who endure, those who stand unshaken while others crumble, possess something rarer: composure under pressure. Pressure exposes the truth about a person. It strips away the rehearsed speeches, the careful smiles, the outward show of confidence. When the unexpected strikes, when plans collapse, when the stakes climb higher than comfort, most people falter. Some grow frantic, rushing into hasty decisions. Others freeze, paralyzed by the weight of the moment. But the great leader does neither. He remains steady, not because the storm is mild, but because he has prepared himself for its arrival. He expects resistance, setbacks, and uncertainty. He understands that chaos is not an exception to life, it is an essential part of it. This calmness is not a trick of temperament. It is a discipline of the mind, built by repeated practice in controlling one's emotions. The man who can remain calm when the world is collapsing does not do so because he feels no fear. He feels it, but he refuses to let it dictate his actions. I have often said that you cannot control the external world, but you can control the internal. When you master yourself, you become untouchable by panic. Others may shout, accuse, or demand you act before you are ready, but your mind remains as steady as a surgeon's hand. Let me give you an example. In the darkest days of the Great Depression, I spoke to men who had lost fortunes overnight. Some were so consumed by fear that they could not make a single rational decision. They sold their remaining assets at a loss, abandoned their plans, and hid from opportunity. Others, however, remained calm. They assessed the new reality, made deliberate moves, and emerged from the crisis stronger than before. It was not luck that separated them, it was composure. The calm mind can see what the frantic mind cannot. While panic narrows vision, calmness widens it. This is why a leader's ability to remain steady in chaos is not just admirable, it is a competitive advantage. The next time pressure mounts in your own life, remember this: you are not obligated to react instantly. You are obligated to respond wisely. And wisdom is rarely found in a rush. When I studied the lives of the most influential leaders in history, I found that composure was not merely a personal trait, it was a source of influence over others. People instinctively look to those who remain steady when the ground beneath them shakes. In moments of uncertainty, we follow the one whose voice does not tremble, whose face does not betray panic. Think of a ship at sea in the midst of a violent storm. The passengers may be terrified, but if the captain stands on deck with a steady gaze, issuing calm and deliberate orders, the crew's confidence grows. They believe the ship can make it through because the captain acts as if it will. Now imagine the same storm, but the captain is frantic, shouting orders one moment and reversing them the next. Even if the ship has the strength to survive, the people aboard will lose faith. Their fear will multiply, not because of the storm itself, but because of the leader's reaction to it. This is a truth every great leader understands. Your composure is contagious. If you remain calm, those around you will borrow that calmness. If you lose control, they will lose theirs. I recall once advising a business leader whose company was in serious trouble. His competitors were spreading rumors of his collapse. The banks were calling in debts, and even his most trusted associates were questioning whether the business could survive. When he came to see me, I expected him to be desperate, perhaps even defeated. Instead, he spoke with quiet determination. He told me he would not rush into foolish decisions just to appear in control. He would take each problem in turn, solve it methodically, and preserve his company's strength for the long game. His calmness gave him time to negotiate with creditors, reassure his team, and identify opportunities others had missed. While his competitors exhausted themselves in frantic moves, he regained stability. Within 2 years, his company was not only solvent but thriving again. That man taught me something important. The calm mind is not a passive mind. It is active, deliberate, and focused. Calmness does not mean inaction. It means measured action. It is the art of moving forward without being pushed off course by urgency or fear. When you feel the heat of pressure, you must remind yourself the situation will pass, but the consequences of your reaction will remain. The leader who can pause, breathe, and think clearly when others cannot, he will always have the advantage. I have said many times that the greatest battles are fought not on fields of war or in boardrooms, but in the mind. When pressure mounts, the first opponent you face is your own instinct to react without thinking. Your heartbeat quickens, your mind races, and you feel the urge to do something, anything. That urge is natural, but it is also dangerous. Most costly mistakes are made in the moments when emotion has seized the wheel from reason. Great leaders prepare themselves for these moments long before they arrive. They rehearse in their minds how they will respond to crises. They condition themselves to pause before acting, to seek clarity before emotion. Just as an athlete trains his body for the demands of the game, a leader must train his mind for the demands of high pressure. I recall an encounter with a young entrepreneur who had just faced a devastating product failure. His investors were furious, his customers were disappointed, and his own team was losing faith. When he came to me, he was on the verge of making a rash decision to shut down the entire business and start fresh. I asked him, "Have you considered all your options, or only the ones your panic has allowed you to see?" He admitted he had not paused long enough to think. So I instructed him to step away for a day, no emails, no meetings, no decisions, just time to clear the fog from his mind. When he returned, his perspective had shifted. He realized the failure was not the end of his business, but an isolated event that could be corrected. Within months, the product was relaunched successfully, and the business was back on track. Had he acted in the heat of panic, his company would have been gone, not because the market rejected it, but because the leader had surrendered to pressure. Here lies the advantage that calm leaders possess. They buy themselves the space to see the entire chessboard. They do not stare only at the problem. They scan for the opportunities hidden inside it. In moments when everyone else is staring at the flames, they are already thinking about how to rebuild stronger than before. Understand this: pressure is not a sign you are failing. It is proof you are in the arena. Every worthy goal will test you with moments where the outcome hangs in the balance. But if you can keep your mind steady while others lose theirs, you will make decisions that not only preserve your position but often advance it. The calm mind turns pressure into clarity and clarity into power. There is a reason why those who master composure often rise higher than those who rely only on raw talent or intelligence. In times of calm, talent may impress, but in times of crisis, talent without composure collapses. The leader who can think clearly while others are blinded by fear becomes the natural point of stability, the one everyone turns to whether or not he holds the official title. In my years of studying successful men, I noticed a striking pattern. Most of them were not the loudest in the room nor the quickest to act. They were the ones who could remain centered when the stakes were highest. Even when surrounded by chaos, they projected a sense of control. It is not that they knew the answer to every problem, no man does, but they radiated the confidence that an answer could be found. One such man was a steel magnate I interviewed during my early research. He told me that the most important skill he had ever learned was to delay the emotional reaction. In his words, "I have never regretted the decision I waited to make, but I have often regretted the ones I made too soon." His ability to delay reaction was not weakness, it was strength disguised as patience. A calm leader sends a silent signal to those around him: we are not out of options. We are not out of time. We will find the way. That signal is more powerful than any speech because it is not just heard, it is felt. It steadies the hands of those who might otherwise drop their tools. It gives courage to those who might otherwise walk away. Now let me speak directly to you. Composure is not an accident, and it is not inherited. It is cultivated through conscious practice. Begin in small ways. When you face minor inconveniences, resist the urge to complain or overreact. Train yourself to observe without immediate judgment. Pause before speaking. This is how you build the muscle of control, so that when the great tests come, you do not flinch. Remember, the man who loses his temper loses more than his temper. He loses his ability to lead. He hands over control to the very forces he seeks to master. But the one who holds his peace holds his power. When pressure arrives, as it surely will, welcome it as your opportunity to rise above the ordinary. Use it to distinguish yourself from the many who react by being the rare one who responds. I will tell you now, as plainly as I can, pressure will come for you. It will come in your business, in your relationships, in your health, and in the quiet hours when doubt creeps in. You will not avoid it by hiding, nor will you eliminate it by wishing for an easier path. If your ambitions are worthy, they will demand moments that test every ounce of resolve you possess. And when that test comes, it will not be your intelligence, your charm, or even your resources that determine your fate. It will be your ability to remain calm while others lose their grip. The man who keeps his composure gains an advantage that cannot be bought or faked. In the storm, he becomes the fixed point that others navigate by. His presence steadies the team, inspires confidence in investors, and reassures even his opponents that he is not easily broken. I have seen men who possessed half the talent of their rivals rise twice as high because they could be trusted under fire. And I have seen brilliant men destroy their own empires with a single rash decision made in a moment of panic. The difference between them was not luck, it was mastery over self. You must train for this mastery before the storm comes. Do not wait until you are in the middle of a crisis to learn how to breathe, think, and respond deliberately. Develop the habit now, when the stakes are small, of pausing before you act. Ask yourself in every challenge, what outcome do I want here, and will my next action bring me closer to it? A great leader understands that pressure is not merely an obstacle, it is a proving ground. Every trial you face is a chance to show yourself and others that you can be trusted, that you can lead when it matters most. So the next time you feel the weight of expectation pressing down on you, do not rush, do not flinch, do not let the noise of the moment drown out your purpose. Stand tall, breathe slowly. Let the storm rage around you while you keep your eyes fixed on the horizon. In doing so, you will discover a truth that only the calm ever find. Pressure does not break the great leader, it reveals him.